By taking a third term, Xi Jinping is prepared to break the Chinese Communist Party leadership tradition. Many foreign observers believe that the 69-year-old leader may be able to seize power as much as the late tyrant Mao Zedong. Does Xi announce his next step against his nation? Keep watching to get the answer. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and greetings. Today's video will show you Xi Jinping just revealed his next move against his own people, so stay focused. On Sunday, Xi Jinping became the first leader since Mao to be elected to a third term as party boss. During his decade at the helm, he centralized power in his own hands, brutally removed competitors, built a cult of personality, silenced critics, and had his philosophy inscribed in the Constitution, Xi Jinping concept on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. He is humorously referred to as the president of everything, but it's still a misunderstanding to trace a straight line from Mao to Xi. Professor Carl believes, since it discounts everything that transpired in between, including the Chinese who hoped or fought for a new China. The fact is that Xi's rise to power was far from certain, and it's characterized by his ambition as much as by the party's inability to avoid what they didn't want, a replay of Mao's tragic one-person tyranny. Many people measuring Xi's political strength, however, fail to consider the limits he confronts ahead of the 20th Party Congress, which will define the CCP's leadership for the next 5 years. Despite the propaganda portraying him as a great leader, Xi had failed to fulfill many of the objectives he set for himself when he entered office in 2012. The CCP's actions under his leadership have garnered him a reputation for brutal repression, weakening of the private sector, and a bad diplomatic reputation. That is, he has united most of the outside world against the People's Republic of China. Speaking before China's annual convention of nearly 3,000 representatives to the National People's Congress in Beijing in March 2021, the Chinese administration took a post-pandemic victory lap, proclaiming that his nation had been the one to tame COVID-19, the first to continue work, and the first to regain positive economic growth. When the Communist Party's twice-decade Congress concludes this weekend, China and the rest of the globe will find out who will lead the nation alongside President and Party General Secretary Xi Jinping. The country's senior current government will be disclosed on Sunday when Xi, anticipated to be confirmed as head of state for an extraordinary third term, walks onto the stage in the fantastic Hall of the People. Followed by members of its elite Politburo Standing Committee, the party's top decision-making body, in descending order of importance. Chinese political analyst Larry Ong explains in a column published in Vision Times that there is growing discontent with Xi within the CCP. There is evidence of widespread and growing intra-party resentment towards Xi, whose authority and prestige in Beijing are built far more on propaganda than actual results. Beijing's declaration in late August that the 20th Party Congress will be held from October 16 suggested that the party possibly had agreed to extend Xi Jinping's term and important reshuffle individuals. However, this does not imply that the CCP elite is pleased with his leadership, as recent events have shown. On September 20, the Chinese-language Voice of America released a story including interviews with anonymous CCP princelings and second-generation Reds, or party elite offspring. Those elites argue that after amending the Party Congress in March 2018 to abolish term limits for the President and Vice President of the People's Republic of China, Xi has become an increasingly unpopular figure in their circles. Furthermore, Xi's second Red-generation colleagues have allegedly called for his replacement. One second-generation Red who requested anonymity told VOA that 90% of her friends oppose Xi's candidacy for a third term. Rumors circulated in late September that Xi had been deposed in a coup or was under house arrest after he purportedly disappeared from public view after returning from a trip to Central Asia. The term responsibility refers to determining whether a person is responsible for their actions. Xi's public appearance 11 days after his return shows that he followed China's 10-day zero-virus quarantine regimen. However, the crucial point is that the vast breadth of these rumors implies numerous behind-the-scenes authorities were pulling strings to communicate a poor picture of Xi. Xi has used propaganda and intimidation to counter persistent resistance to his leadership and murmurs of dissatisfaction. In September, Xi's leadership condemned almost all members of the prominent political gang of former Deputy Public Security Minister Sun Lijun. All the defendants belong to the camp of retiring CCP leader Jiang Zemin, who maintains behind-the-scenes power and is Xi Jinping's principal political foe. During the same period, other members of Jiang's group were investigated or expelled from the party. Furthermore, Xi has used tough language to warn high-ranking members of Jiang's group who are still on the run, as well as those who may be plotting to destabilize Xi's leadership ahead of the 20th Party Congress. On October 1, the CCP Central Committee's ideological journal Qixi published an article with some strong quotes from Xi against his internal enemies. "I urge the entire party to face problems head-on, dare to scrape poison from bone, eliminate all factors that undermine the party's advanced nature and purity, and eliminate all viruses that erode the party's healthy body." At the same time, Xi extended an olive branch to party officials who wanted to pursue reformism and China's openness rather than revert to the absolute totalitarianism of the Mao Zedong period. The Chinese Communist Party continues along the path of restriction and rigidity. Xi also vowed to continue on the road of socialism with Chinese features. China's party congresses, conducted twice a decade, determine the top leadership of the Chinese Communist Party and announce the country's domestic and international policy goals for the future years. President Xi Jinping was elected to a third term at this week's 20th Party Congress, a widely expected step after Xi repealed term limits in 2018. Patricia Kim, a David M. Rubenstein Fellow at the Center for East Asia Policy Studies and the John L. Thornton China Center here at Brookings, joins us to analyze the consequences of China's 20th Party Congress. Patricia, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Xi also used the Party Congress to call his compatriots to adopt a quote and fighting spirit. His speech channeled Beijing's apprehension that its path to national rejuvenation will not necessarily be smooth and require a concerted effort. Still, he also tried to project confidence, saying that China is on an irreversible course to rise. Xi may amend China's Communist Party constitution to allow leader Xi Jinping to reign for life if he desires. China's week-long Communist Party Congress is being held behind mainly closed doors. Compared to past editions, most journalists do not have access to delegates' meetings this time, but official announcements and press conferences suggest what to anticipate. The 69-year-old leader has emerged as China's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong. His hold on power appears unshaken, despite China's slowing economy, public outrage over restrictive pandemic measures, a growing schism with Western countries over alleged human rights violations in Xinjiang and Hong Kong, and Beijing's refusal to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Xi goes into his second period in office with a drastically different scenario than his previous two tenures. The relationship between China and the West has shifted radically, with U.S.-China ties cratering amid a trade and tech war, frictions over Taiwan, COVID-19, Beijing's human rights record, and its unwillingness to criticize Russia's conflict in Ukraine. It is apparent that Xi perceives China as having entered an era largely of battle in the international arena rather than a moment of opportunity, said Andrew Small, author of No Limits, The Inside Story of China's War with the West. The expectation that relations will deteriorate further has resulted in a China that is far more openly engaged in a systemic rivalry with the West, greater assertiveness, more overtly ideologically hostile positions, more efforts to build counter-coalitions of its own, and bigger push to shore up China's position in the developing world, he said. These pressures are also expected to influence Beijing's strong ties with Moscow. While China has endeavored to seem like a neutral party in the battle in Ukraine, it has declined to criticize Russia's incursion and blame the West for the conflict, a dynamic that may be hard to alter. That's all we have for you today. Look at Xi Jinping just revealed his next move against his own people. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see all future videos, subscribe to the channel and switch on notifications. First and foremost, what do you think about these cryptocurrencies? And how can you justify them more precisely? Please participate and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching.